You're welcome again to the Policy Council. My name is Okwemi Agbaji. Today we take a look at the polity, the state of the polity. We look at the U.S. fiscal cliff, the state of Palestine, the issues in Egypt with President Morsi and the so-called power grab. We come home, Boko Haram, state of security, the ICC's intervention, the recommendation by the central bank to sack 50% of civil servants. These and other issues. We walk around all of them and we offer you a very fascinating time. Enjoy the program. You're welcome back to the Policy Council. We're talking state of the polity. I have two of my regulars and friends on this program. Victor Ogenwoyi, the CEO of Partnership Investment. You're welcome, Victor.
Thank you very much.
And Eis Eyeye, the CEO of Fares Group.
Thanks, Okwemi.
Yes, Eis and Victor, let's start with Egypt, where President Morsi took power, played a very good role. Indeed, I was just commending him on my Facebook page about the facilitative role he played in resolving the Gaza-Israel crisis. And then the next day, he suddenly abolishes all restraints on his power and seeks to become a dictator, as it were. What do you think?
What they have said in their own defense is that they felt that some of the holdbacks from the Mubarak regime, particularly still in the judiciary, seems to be holding things back. You remember that earlier this year, the legislative elections were set aside by the courts. And it feels that these are still obstacles they have to overcome. However, I think it is wrong to now impose himself and become above the law. I think that is what we are seeing in Tahrir Square and the way the average Egyptian is reacting to it. I think we should have just been patient enough, manage the situation until they get the new constitution in place, which they are now rushing. And of course, there are already hiccups here and there because the liberals have all pulled out. They believe that he's being railroaded. And if we did this, he's not going to have a very good tenor going forward because the problem would be that he's going to alienate so many of the people. That is my position.
Yes. In a country like Egypt, haven't witnessed how Mubarak was thrown out of office. It is the height of insensitivity, naivety, and I'm sorry to say, but cluelessness. Because you can't be president of a country like Egypt, and they haven't played the kind of role you mentioned, and then you now come out and do what he has done. It shows that he is really not ready for this office. You see, unfortunately, what has happened is that the Muslim Brotherhood did well as an opposition party, under Mubarak, and angling for recognition and angling for power. Now that they are really in power and the government is on their shoulders, you can see that they are beginning to flounder.
There's a less charitable, admittedly, but probably not baseless explanation that some will advance. By definition, the Muslim Brotherhood is an Islamist political organization. It seeks Sharia and the total implementation. It seeks an Islamic state like Iran. The closest government to the Muslim Brotherhood is the government of Iran.
Yes.
And such a government cannot have restraints on its powers. It needs absolute powers to run an Islamic state. Isn't that what Morsi tried to do?
Party in power is a dominating power. This is a situation where the Brotherhood won the presidency. Won an election, and they just managed. Remember, it was
50.1
too close to
48 point
they barely made it. So how would you think you can now, come into office and then you want to be a dictator? That is the tactlessness and the cluelessness. Yes, you have an agenda. You want a Sharia state. You want to introduce Islamic law. You should be tactful. You should be strategic about it. If it's going to take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, even 50 years to achieve, a strategic party will bid its time. Watch the situation and then move strategically. Already, in fact, if there's an election, next election, you'll be surprised that they are Coptic Christians, 10% of the population. So Egypt is a peculiar country.
Let's take a quick turn at Palestine, now recognized by the UN as a non-member observer nation.
I think it's a very significant move for Palestine because we've been talking about a two-state solution for so long, but nothing has been done to actually start implementing that. I think even before the detailed talks about territory and everything, there's a need to start moving them towards being a state. And I think this is one step towards that. I don't know any of you watched the interview with Omet, the former Prime Minister, who is in the opposition. I was quite impressed that for the first time I'm seeing an Israeli leader that seems to be getting out of the mode. He actually supports this move at the UN. And he said that he very genuinely wants to see a settlement of a two-state solution, because that's really where the issue is. If the Palestinians themselves see that there is a move towards really having their own state, I'm sure they will cease hostilities. I think we're getting
what was your perspective?
Well, the two-state solution can only happen through a negotiated solution, through negotiation, because the issues are quite complex. Not as easy as it seems, because you must understand that the Israeli nation has one foreign policy, no matter who is the prime minister, no matter which party is in power, because it's about the survival of Israel as a nation, it's about the continuity of the Israeli people. So they are this is something that is non-negotiable. Every Israeli is a soldier. Israel is hot. America is hot.
America was. Susan Rice's statement was quite stern. The only thing I felt, was Mohammed Abbas, president of Fatah, president of the Palestinian Authority. Shouldn't the world give him some encouragement?
Exactly. He has been
undermined.
Exactly. He has
rather than promoting Hamas in Gaza.
If you are saying in the case of, I don't expect the statement from Susan Rice to be any different. They must show that they are solidly behind Israel at all times. But I can also say that behind closed scenes, they also relieved that thing passed. Because the truth is this. There's nothing that's going to happen. No, what I'm saying is that's the public face of it. So if it makes sense,
let's take a time out and we'll be right back. You're welcome back to the Policy Council. I'm still Okweme Agbaje. My name hasn't changed. And I still have two gentlemen here arguing over Israel and Palestine. You wanted to put in a
it's a very distressing thing when on the world stage you get beaten the way they were trounced, And they were really trounced. 100.
Let me tell you, this is not the first time that issue is coming up. You remember the last time it came up?
But that was Security Council, and America vetoed it.
If America really wanted to kill that resolution, they would have killed it before. It would never even have
happened.
Fundamentally, what I'm worried about more fundamentally is that the tide of world opinion seems to be shifting powerfully against Israel.
That's what Ahmed was saying yesterday, that even the urgency to create a Palestinian state so that they can each live in peace is very urgent for Israel, not just even...
But Victor, I looked at that interview and I disagreed with Olmert in one respect. When Olmert and the peaceniks, Rabin, Shamir and co, were prime ministers of Israel, they projected that kind of desperation to make peace, which encouraged the Palestinians to hold out for more concessions, even when they were offered the best deals possible. They thought that this guy is desperate, and therefore I will not. He must give me more.
I agree with you that the Palestinians made a mistake, particularly just before in Clinton's era. There was a very big opportunity. If I were
what they were asking for today
is what exactly
Olmert offered them, and they said no because they thought he was desperate and weak.
No, I don't think that was the situation. I think they should have taken it. Unfortunately, they came up with a very hard stance that made them lose even what they have now.
And even Clinton got tired and said, "Let this guy."
Got tired of it. It made a very positive, but I don't think the reason was that they thought they could get more. That was the reason they.
That's why they were holding out for more concessions.
Hamas. Maybe not maybe, you see, because they are popular amongst the Palestinian people and the Fatah party and
the Qataris have given them $400 million.
And they are the ones that are causing the problem, because you see, you can't blame Israel for taking a more stern stance over time, because this issue of the rockets they keep shooting and all that, look, you have to also empathize with Israel.
Certainly I do.
Yeah, I mean, most of the countries of the world, Israel looks like the bad guys. This is a problem that, they say two fighting. There must be a solution involving the two fighting, separating and making peace down. Otherwise,
let's leave Israel alone and Palestine and talk about the U.S. fiscal cliff. Obama is back in power. the fiscal cliff, so-called, is looming.
Yes.
How do you think this will play out?
See, they are not looking at a situation where they should just let it be. If we let the physical cliff, if it happens, nothing will happen. It will just be. Don't forget that
recession back into America.
Yeah, and who will be the people to suffer the most? Don't forget that even the business people, you know, the Republicans and all, don't want to see it happen. So I'm sure it's in their interest, and Obama is in a stronger position today to be able to negotiate some of this, you know, strong. You can't expect Obama having won the election to come back and do what the Republicans want him to do in the first place. They frustrated him, and they've slowed the recession up to now. I think we are going to see a situation where a deal will be done. If not today, it will be maybe after Christmas, but nothing will happen, because we've seen that happen in the case of the
debt crisis.
If the rating will, at the end of the day, the average investor knows that America is still safer for investment than anywhere else in the world. And they are actually borrowing money now today lower than they were at any time. So I don't think we should worry so much about that.
Well, I don't know how you can say that nothing will happen if they don't come to a deal, and you are so sure that they will make a deal.
They will make a deal.
Look at the Congress today. The Republicans have strengthened their hold on the Congress. Yes, because of the larger picture of the American economy, I believe that they will come to a deal. But it's not going to be easy.
Very certain.
Yes, because
the positions are very far apart.
Exactly.
What Obama is offering, frankly, is quite, in my view, silly.
But
1.5 trillion of new taxes.
Let me tell you the truth. The truth is that I saw the revised figures of GDP yesterday.
Yeah, very much better.
It shows that the fiscal stimulus have helped to see the growth, you know, going. He is now saying that, look, let's just do it all. Look, he's not running any other election. The House of Representatives can do everything they want. They are not the government. They don't run anything. So they can make whatever laws they want to make. And
they have the power to frustrate the president.
Yes, but the president also has a leeway. There are so many ways. You see, you remember what happened with the immigration issue. When don't forget that Obama is a constitutional lawyer. When he got to the point, he looked at the laws. There must be a way out.
But his last word. Obama needs a legacy. And to achieve that legacy, he needs to be able to work with the Congress better than he did in the first place.
So he will do that.
So otherwise, he's going to find that this next 4 years, he really won't be able to do much.
Do anything.
You see, you
cannot. You made your point.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
Government wants our city to become a mega modern city. And so, government is providing modern markets for us to carry out our business. Now, this requires money. So, we need to pay our taxes to help government to help us. I pay my taxes. I hope you've paid yours. I pay. Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back, and we still have a controversial program here. Let's come back home and leave the US and the Palestinians alone. Boko Haram, the International Criminal Court, I'll give this to Ahis, says it has confirmed that Boko Haram has committed crimes against humanity and is proceeding to phase 3. The US government is in denial and says this is an issue of poverty. The Nigerian government is in some sort of complicity with the US government, denying the true nature of the Boko Haram activities. What's the impact of this ICC position?
It's a major indictment on both the US government and the Nigerian government. I mean, because, you know, indeed, crimes have been committed. It's obvious. You don't need any expert to. I mean, when you are.
I wrote a column. Saying that these are crimes against humanity.
Serious crimes against humanity. You know, and with the ICC's involvement, I hope maybe they can uncover those behind the crime and the facelessness of Boko Haram, which we've always, which the government has always claimed. Because even though there are at least 3 major people that have been fingered so far.
In fact, I'm a lawyer. We have at least 100 Boko Haram operatives in detention in various prisons all over the world. If we really wanted to know who their sponsors are, we will go up the chain. Okay, so
look, I don't even think that government does not know who the sponsors are. You know, and this is what, you know, we've had this conversation some time back. This is what really is frustrating, annoying, and very upsetting. Because a situation where the president says they are members of Boko Haram in his government, and we have seen some policemen. I mean, a policeman that was indicted for complicity
even
with Boko Haram,
naval officer,
an immigration officer, and like you just pointed out, we've not seen serious process. How long does it take to get to investigate and prosecute somebody?
Exactly.
I really don't understand, and that's why I said I'm happy now. If I maybe this will push the hands of the government, because if the ICC is saying that there are crimes against humanity, what is the government going to say? Is it going to
and
stand
it's
in the way
moving
of
to the
ICC?
next phase of determining whether the government of Nigeria is taking appropriate action. Otherwise, it acquires jurisdiction
but you see,
over the matter.
there's even something more pronounced that happened a few days ago. You know, there was a list of the suspected Boko Haram people that have been picked up. The wanted list. Not only were they declared, you know, and they gave these sums of money, the interesting thing is that not a single picture was produced. Now, how do you want the public to find them? I mean, in fact, you can find 200 Mohammeds on a street in Maiduguri. So what is all this? The names are meaningless to the average person without their pictures. You cannot tell me that the security agencies have identified these people. They cannot find a picture. In fact, the first thing you do when you're fighting a crime like that is when you put them on picture. Even people you don't know who are next to you, you begin to wonder, but I saw your picture on television. That's the only way you can get results. It's not just listing a bunch of names and saying people 200 million. That will not do anything, because we will never get to it.
You know, in addition to what Victor has said about, which is a surprise, you know, that even with all the money that has been spent on intelligence to improve intelligence and still like that, what also worries me is the fact that Boko Haram is not reducing the activities. It's even getting bolder. I mean, look at the attack on the SARS
in Abuja.
Look, you know, so you wonder,
and on the church,
and inside Jaji. I mean, so it's really worrisome that these people are getting bolder. They are getting more confident. The House of Reps, the other day, they said that even the House of Reps, they are not.
I was a bit happy about that anyway. Maybe if they feel unsafe,
then they will do something about it. But
the
truth is that right now, I think our security agencies really need to go back to the drawing board. I was reading Adeniji a few days ago, and I think he was of the opinion that there are too many divided. There's never been a real sitting down to look at it. For instance, he says the Boko Haram, issue has been there. But you have a division between police, the SSS, the NSO,
the JTF, everybody
has
trying to prove that they're the ones.
Exactly, you're not going to get anything.
But what is the NSA's work? The National Security Advisor, I mean, I thought there's only one NSA.
Do we have an NSA?
Don't you have an NSA?
Currently, do we have one?
We have one.
Anyway, that's the difference.
So the
IG said there's no law to prosecute the people.
In fact, I've never heard anything more embarrassing from a government official. How can the Inspector General of Police come out and tell the world that he has not been able to prosecute any terrorists because there's no anti-terrorism law? I think everybody who reads newspapers and who is aware of what goes on in the country is aware that there is a terrorism law. And the Senator Abaribi, the Speaker, the Public Affairs, the senators that had to come out and do a press conference.
We passed this law in 2011.
Yes.
At the time, you were the IG.
I don't understand this. Isn't that what happened? This is a major. I think this may be symptomatic of the problem.
Yeah.
Because if an IG does not know that there is an anti-terrorism law in place, what are we talking about? I mean, and the funny thing about the sad thing about our country is that people don't get punished for their inefficiency or their ineffectiveness.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would have thought that kind of thing. I mean, even maybe if the IG was misinformed, maybe the legal advisor of the police misinformed him, somebody's head should have rolled for that misinformation. Well, I want to believe that.
But you have to also be very careful to know that he actually said those things. It's possible that
he has not come out to answer him. No, he has not come out to say he was. Usually they say they were misquoted. He has not come out to say he was misquoted.
Nobody is misquoting us on this one. We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome my son.
We are giving free textbooks in our school today.
I thank God. I know with this Lagos State government free education, my son will end up being a lawyer or medical doctor. He can even become an educated automobile engineer. My son tell me, say, their school don't get beautiful building with a better chair and desk, new library, computer for everywhere, laboratory today. My people, all these things wey our children dey enjoy today, na our tax money do am o. I dey pay my tax.
Pay your tax. It's your civic responsibility. It's your duty. It's the law.
You're welcome back to the final segment of the Policy Council. The CPN governor says to fix this problem of 70% recurrent, 30% capital spending, we should sack 50% of the civil servants.
I happened to be there when he said it. But
Okay.
the truth, though, is that I think it's being taken completely out of context.
Okay.
What he's trying to emphasize is that you cannot have a situation where 70% of the total revenue to be spent this year, for instance, will be going to pay less than
and overhead.
2 million people in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Whereas the remaining 165 million people have nothing. The issue of where development money should go should be a very hot topic. I think what he's saying in the effect is that you can even find out that to make Nigeria even more effective, you might need to double the size of civil servants, but they must be doing something. Right now, nobody can argue that our civil service is completely, heavily redundant, inefficient, ineffective. What he's saying is that you cannot be paying salaries when there is nothing to. If you have those,
and I don't think there are many educated Nigerians that disagree with that.
Exactly. So,
but the dimension. So was that 50%? You were there.
Yes.
Was it just
no? I think
another?
Yes, it was. No. I think it was
just like the way it said 25% of the salary.
No, I think
budget is spent on the
what he said
national
was that what he says that if he had his way. If he had his way, he would do away with 50%.
Let's say
you see, it's unfortunate that. Let me start by saying first of all that I actually agree with him that we need to prune our civil service and even our legislature,
but make them effective.
But you know what? My problem is that why does Lamido Sanusi enjoy controversy? Is it for him to be making somebody a senator, a House of Reps member has accused him now hitting up the polity. And this is really what he's doing. The NLC has come out. The Minister of Labour, Wogu, has had to come and say that look, we don't have any such plan because when the central bank governor speaks, people can take for granted that maybe he's flying a kite. Maybe this is the policy direction. He's a member of the National Economic Management Team. So he could actually be flying a kite. He has caused the presidency problems. And this is my problem with Lamido Sanusi. Must he talk? And I don't know why
is he an activist? You are closer. Is he a social activist or
whatever you call him?
A civil society
no matter what you call him, when people tell the truth, it's always very bitter for people to understand. And that's the reason why all these
isn't that the role of civil society?
The whole idea. No. That aside doesn't mean that it doesn't have his own opinion. You see, the opinion of your own opinion. You are the central bank governor. You cannot have your own opinion different from
our economy.
For instance, let me ask you. Let me tell you this.
If the Fed chairman said
you wait,
the U.S. government should sack.
For instance,
what do you think will happen?
For instance, what he said, for instance, about the Ibadan Expressway, it was also his opinion. And if somebody will ask him, you are in the... You are
a member of the economic...
That's exactly what somebody asked him. Somebody asked him, I said, he has said that, look, there is an ICRC, infrastructure, concession and regulatory commission that is in place. By law, you have cancelled this contract. Why don't you reconcession it? Even if we are...
Why must it be... Is it his job?
No, wait. But it's part of what we are saying is that we say we are going to do one thing and do another thing.
What I'm saying, what he says that
even there, he said that even though he voices this, he's not the only person in the economic management team. There are so many other people there. Even though he voices this, is his own opinion. I don't think that the notion of central bank governors anywhere in the world is one in which they are allowed where they are supposed to encourage more or understand that they just talk. Whenever they have an opinion or anything. Strangely enough, he actually predicted it that he knows that the headlines. Then why does he do that?
Let me say this. With all due respect to him as a person,
but I think what he's saying is the right thing.
It's not about, you see, I just told
It's
you
the right
that,
thing. What he's saying is the right
I
thing.
just told you
Even
now
if
that
it
I
doesn't-
agreed with the idea of rationalizing the civil service.
Exactly.
After all, the Olosoye committee is supposed to help achieve that.
In a rational manner.
And the president
Olosoye
at the last-
committee did not say sack everybody.
No, but I don't think he meant sack 50%.
But that's what he
Why
said.
do we always
When
have to
he's-
reinterpret
No,
what
no, no.
he means?
Look,
No,
the fact
what he
of
was
when
emphasizing was
let us hit the nail on the head.
lopsidedness of how the budget is going to pay salaries without development. I think that was his point.
We'll be right back. Now, that was a fascinating discussion. Controversy all over. But that illustrates or demonstrates how controversial, how heated, how passionate some of the global and domestic issues we've looked at are. We offer you on the Policy Council a balanced perspective on the issues based on knowledge and based on information. And yes, my guests were passionate. I hope you enjoyed it, but more importantly, I hope you learned something from it. See you next time.